guys, so you may or may not have seen that a number of health club chains and some individual operators have started to announce recently that they won't be reopening. I have seen research that suggests maybe up to a third of fitness facilities won't reopen after lockdown finishes, which obviously is terrible. That's jobs lost there. Not good, not what anyone wants. But I did see an interesting comment about it earlier about a particular group of facilities that weren't going to be reopening. And someone was referencing about why they were failing and saying it was down to the coronavirus pandemic. And somebody else commented and said they were already failing during the obesity pandemic, which I thought was quite an interesting thought. And it's true. That particular chain, operator, whatever you want to call it, had been struggling to get sufficient business whilst there was the biggest pandemic ever known to man of obesity. Whilst the average person, who they in theory were there to help, was getting further and further away from where they wanted to get to. And I thought that was an interesting way to look at it. And often the reason that we give for something happening isn't the entirety of the truth. Now, clearly, the coronavirus pandemic is what finished them off. It'd be daft to say otherwise. But it's not the entirety of the conversation. They were struggling before. Obviously, what they were doing wasn't really working. And I think that'll be the case for a lot of places that either don't reopen or maybe limp on for a few months and then close down. They were probably struggling before the coronavirus pandemic. They were struggling during the biggest obesity pandemic the world has ever known. And if you were struggling at that point, this sort of thing is probably going to finish you off. If you were someone like the Academy that was doing well, it's been a knock. You know, it's knocked us to our knees, it's blooded our faces. You know, it's going to take some recovering from a financial point of view, but ultimately we'll be fine. I know we'll be fine. I know we've got sufficient business already there, sufficient good faith, sufficient number of people said that they're coming back afterwards, that it'll all be fine. So just remember that the reason that we give for something isn't necessarily the entirety of the truth. When we say that we haven't exercised because we haven't had time, sure, we've been busy, we've been low on time has been scarce, but we've had time. There's been 1,440 minutes in that day. And the idea that we genuinely couldn't spare 60 seconds or 3 minutes or 5 minutes to do some form of exercise, when you really stop and think about it, it's not true. We can do something. We might not be able to go to the particular place we'd like to go to, do the particular exercise we might like to do for the amount of time we'd like to do it for, or what have you. But we can always exercise. We can always use 1 to 5 minutes out of those 1,440 in the day. When we make less good food choices and blame it on other people or the logistics or where we were, that's again only part of the real truth. We can make better choices. Sure, those things make it more difficult. Completely get that. Completely understand certain circumstances make better food choices harder. But ultimately, it's still our choice. Saying it's because of something external is only part of the truth. So that's it, guys. Let me know if that rings any bells. If you've ever blamed time or location or anyone else for not exercising for less good food choices, and give the video a like.